Hello, hello, hello. How are you doing this fine Wednesday evening? Let's get in here and pray. I pray your Wednesday has been amazing. Mine has. There's nothing like some good stillness and getting in the presence of God and just sitting still to allow whatever God want to do. Thank you, God, for being Jehovah Nissi, the God of the banner. You place a hedge of protection in front of me, behind me, and on top of me. You keep me safe by any means necessary. Psalms 91, you place me underneath your mighty wing, and nothing shall by any means harm me. No evil will befall me, neither will any plague come nigh my dwelling. 1,000 may fall on my left-hand side, and 10,000 at my right, but it shall not come near me. No weapon formed against me will prosper. It will form, but I have the breakthrough formula from Jesus, stove, and a arugula. Why all three? Because God is calling everybody to the table. There is no rules or regulations. God said, if you want to sit down and have a conversation, come on, let's do it. And I walk in and instead of fussing about what it looks like, just saying, okay, because God is good and his mercy endures forever. How y'all doing? Okay. Jehovah Shalom, the God of peace, the peace that passes all understanding. Philippians 4, think on these things that are good and of a good report. And if I keep my mind stayed on God, he'll keep me in perfect peace. It don't make sense, but it makes faith. Because what I have faith in, I'm going to believe. And what I believe, I'm going to act on. And what I act on, I'm going to see happen over here in the spirit realm before it hit this realm. Because this realm is so dense and so heavy that it takes a minute before anything shows up. Okay. Jehovah Sabaoth, the God of hosts. You're here, you're there, you're everywhere. You are me, and I am you. Man, God placed a small spark in my heart of love before I even entered this earth realm through my mother's womb. And let me tell you, he told Jeremiah, I knew thee before you enter your mother's womb. That's Jeremiah 1 and 2, okay? Check out them 2 chapters. And if God is one way with one person, he's the same way with everybody else. God is no respecter of person. He's a respecter of faith. That's it. How do you believe? He don't care what's going on in your mind, what religion you say you a part of, what you eat, where you go, what you do. Only thing God care about is what you have faith in. And see, God plays a small aspect of himself. See, God is not an aspect of love. God is love, but he plays a small aspect of love in our heart. And how we work it is how we see the same way with Ephesians 3:20. God will do exceedingly abundantly above all we could ask or think according to how we work it. So love is according to how we work it. To be a foot, 3 feet, 20 feet, 60, 100 feet, 1,000 feet. It can be bigger than that, but it's based on how we work it in this earth realm. God is no respecter of person. It's just how you work the gifts that he gives you. That's it. All right. Jehovah Elohim, the God of gods. We made all this stuff to put between us and God. God don't care nothing about religion and all this stuff that we put priests, preachers, all that stuff. God said, I just want y'all to come and talk to me because I made you so I will have somebody to talk to. I gave you the free reign to do whatever you want to. However, I would love it if you come over here and talk to me. And will have faith in what I say because I really want to give you what you asking for. But do you truly believe it? And if you, how you going to believe the creation before you believe the creator? And then you blocking yourself from receiving the best that's out here, but you blocking yourself. How about that? But we don't believe it. Because what you have faith in is how you going to believe it. Okay. Jehovah El Shaddai, the Most High God. Your name is higher than any name that is on this earth in the universe. If it can be congregated in a sentence, in a punctuation, put it at the end of that sentence, you're higher than that. Then if I get ready to think of something and try to tell you, it's going to be a sentence or a paragraph, and it's going to have some punctuation. So guess what? God is bigger than that. God made everything. So why would we try to put something above God? Jehovah Jireh, my provider. There is no lack. There's only provision. God is more than enough, and God supplies all I need. It may not look the way I thought it was going to look, but it's supplied. I'm worthy because I exist, and I exist because I'm worthy. Because I came out of a womb of a woman. That's it. I'm worthy. There's nothing that God will ever withhold from me. Look at James 1. God will never hold it back, but are you asking? God is my source and nothing on the outside of me because God is in me. See, God will use people on this earth to bless me. See, wealth comes from the north, as above, so below, not the east, west, and the south. It will always be supplied supernaturally if I believe it because it's based on my frequency, which is key. If God is over here and I'm over here, God said, come to me as you are. That means I get up and I change my perspective. That means that's what we do every time we go to somebody. Make sure it's worth it. Jehovah Rapha, my healer. You hear my mind, my soul, my body, my spirit. You hear so much of me. Child, I've been doing all these extra stretches that me and God been talking about. And every time I do it, there's a little thing that happens that I didn't see before. And me and God will sit down and talk about it. Jehovah Gamola, the God of the recompense. Ain't no getting even with people. Ain't no arguing with people. Why we gonna do that? They know what they did. You know what they did. So why we even... Just send all that negative energy over to the creator. Ask the creator to cleanse and purify it and send it back. That way you can send it back to the sender. Cleanse and purify. Ain't no blocking their path. Ain't no stopping their path. No matter what they did. Why? We got cause and effect, sowing and reaping, and corresponding action out here. Meaning, everything we do is a seed. And seed turn into trees. Whether you want good or bad is how you put that seed in the ground. I live under the law of assumption that it's already worked out. And I don't have to stress about it. Everything doesn't require my response or my fight. I choose my battles properly and I leave it in God's hands. Ain't no fussing and no stressing me out. And so it will be, and so will it be, and forevermore. Sometimes you just need to leave some stuff alone and leave it in God's hands. Does it hurt to leave it in God's hands? Because you want to get your words in. You want to say what you got to say. You want to snatch some flies. And God said, I got this. You be like, all right. Look in the description below to see a few items just for you. My books incorporate the essence of God. If you want to feel the presence of God, read In the Garden with the Father, Understanding True Intimacy. Okay, let's read a little something. Let's read a something. This is going to be on, page 100. It says, trust me, I have your best interests in mind. I would never leave or forsake you. Be at peace. I have it all under control. Child, when God said he got it all under control, sometimes you be like, look, it's taking too long, God. I got something I got to do. God be like, what? Because, one day here on earth is like 1,000 years with God. So that's why sometimes it take a moment for stuff to get to us. But you know what? It's also testing us to see if we truly believe. Because if we truly believe, we'll just stay there no matter how long it takes, right? You see, it don't matter what your background is because God don't care. And don't forget about the other two books, Befriending the Shadow and Unshakable Peace, Unstoppable Change. Both of those books, I deem them shadow activity books. Why? Because there's so many activities to do in those books. They're not like those regular shadow workbooks, okay? You get a word of knowledge. You get an exercise, okay? Oh, you're going to have so much fun. Then you get a shadow question. Not so much fun. It causes you to look into the mirror. And let me tell you, that stuff caused me a lot of pain, a lot of crying and screaming and the pillows and punching. And yes. And so you get that. And the fourth thing is a color page. God asked me to keep it between the age of 5 and 10. Why? Because most childhood wounding happens between the ages of 5 and 10. And by the age of 7, it's solidified in your system. Or if nobody comes to assist by the age of 10, it is really in your system. Okay. And then by the age of 21, it's your responsibility. You can't blame nobody else. And then that last thing you get 5 things in per book, and it's 22 chapters per book. That last thing you get is you get to sketch, draw, doodle, whatever you want to do. Put down your dreams, put down your visions, whatever you want to do. Okay, I put my heart and soul in these books. I put my toes in these books. Okay. And no matter your background, okay. And don't forget about the other 2 books that are already on the New York Times bestseller list. Influence and Impact with Chris Voss. And Mindset Matters with Jack Canfield. Okay. Notebooks and journals for all. Coloring books that help in meditating, recalibrating the mind. Ain't nothing like an adult. Grown up adult getting some color pencils, some crayons, and having a good time humming and just being in the present moment. There's nothing like it. You'll also see the link to the podcast with the Women's Leveling Up. It was fun being there in May. Then you see 3 magazines that I was covered in September, October, and the month of December. I placed a new link to my own personal bookstore. I'm excited about that venture. Why? Because I'm in charge of my own intellectual property, even though I have a lot of stuff on Amazon. But my special journals are on my special bookstore. There are some freebies that I added just for you. Don't forget about the 105 spiritual laws. We really have the 105 spiritual laws. There was 7 in the Kabbalah book, the Initiate book, but then they was 12 in another, and I said that's the discrepancy, and God don't deal in confusion. So I thought it was 105. Time out, disclaimer. Although it was 105 spiritual laws, we're no longer underneath the Mosaic law. We're under a different dispensation of time, which means we're under love and grace. When Jesus came and did the Kundalini awakening, or how we say get on the cross, what he did, he's left us 2 things: love and grace. Love allows you to put a boundary between whomever and you and say, I send nothing but cleansing and purifying energy to you, or I release you in love. That means I send light to you as you go on your journey, because we are no longer together. Why? Because 2 can only walk when they agree. And then you go on about your way, you let them go on theirs, and you go about your journey. Then grace is the ability, because the only thing you owe people is love. That's it. You don't owe people nothing else, just love. You don't owe no explanations. You don't owe why you walked away. That ain't none of their business. Tell them go talk to God about it. And then, and matter of fact, don't say nothing, because the best thing you can do is say, and keep walking. That shows you have own control of your own energy. Okay, the other thing was given was grace. God's willingness to get involved with human affairs. That means God will reach down, pull you up out of whatever. I gave God free reign. I said, look, if I'm down here on this earth plane and I can't yell out like Peter and walk on the water and yell out like Peter, walking on the water is doing the most impossible things, because the things they say are impossible with man is possible with God. Look at Luke 1:37. Okay. Child, if man says it's impossible, God said, I got you. And I said, say less. And so God said, I said, reach down and grip me. God said, say less. And I said, all right. Just like we have 10 commandments. It's really 613 commandments. And if you want to see all of them, go look in the Torah. Or you can get the Kamash or the Tanakh. Okay, that's the English version of the Torah. And go ahead and get those. You can get that anywhere Christian books are sold. So you can see the difference in that Bible and ours. It's a huge difference, because so much was taken out. In 100 AD, 200 AD, they took out so many books of the Bible, and that's why you can get your own Apocrypha. And it has the 54 books that was taken out, so you can see the difference. And it makes so much sense, because then when you see it, you see what Esther had to say, Daniel had to say. Daniel went through a lot, and the Hebrew boys. But there was so much that they left out, because if they'd have left it in there, man, the power that would have came into the congregation seeing that. And so the Roman Catholic Church took it out in 100 AD and 200 AD, Mr. Henry. Because he said he wanted to have control over the mindset of people. There was a lot of stuff that was taken out, child. Read it for yourself, and then you know. All right. And when you look at them 613 commandments, God told the Israelites, there's no way possible you can keep 613 commandments every day for your rest of your life. They said, yes, we can. Us and our children. And that's how we got involved in this generational drama, this generational baggage, and this generational stuff. Okay, because they added every generation in here. That means everybody, no matter what the color of your skin is, we was all invited in this. And this happened all the way back in Egypt. Child. And just like the police have authority to give us a ticket if we in a let's just say we are in a neighborhood and the speed limit is 25, but we driving 60. The police has a right to say, stop, you are going over the speed limit. Well, we have an authority. God gave us the believer's authority that once you believe it, you can say, stop. I am in charge of my own revelation over my own generation. This is stopping. This ain't going no further. Won't nobody else deal with this. And only you know what's keep running in your family. Only you know. Okay. So we can sit there and listen to the church if we want to and say, Jesus took care of the generational trauma and all that stuff on the cross. Yeah. But in 100 AD, the 200 AD, they took all that stuff out. So by the time it got down, there was no more wisdom on that. So we didn't know. So being that nobody shared that information, it was as if it never happened. So think about all that time that it wasn't there. It's just like adults not telling us what's going on, and now we got to go back and fix it, or we get an opportunity to go back and fix it. Okay, because if you don't know, it can be used against you. You have a right to remain silent, and everything that you say will be used against you in a court of law, whether that's spiritual court or the court here. No, your rights, your spiritual rights, not just your earthly rights. No, your spiritual rights. We know everything, but we don't know anything. And this keeps us from attachments as we go through each level and lesson. Talk to me about Jesus' open issue. Because what you think you know, you get to drop half of that so you get to the next level, you know some more. The Adjective PDF, along with the 400 values PDF, is the science project to change your whole sales category. This janky promoter game. Don't forget to sign up for the newsletter for the new juicy updates and the upcoming events. Honey, I was just inducted into the new class of Who's Who, along with influential women of 2025. That's a whole new experience. And look at this. I received an award back in 2017 for my work that I was doing with my nonprofit, Refuge Women's Transition Center. I was bringing women out of sex trafficking as well as teenage girls out of sex trafficking and putting them in places, or I had my own spot that I was putting them in. I was putting them in a safe spot where I put them. I'm not telling you. Okay. Put them in a safe spot so nobody could get a hold of them. And domestic violence. Because of what they was in, I wasn't able to take pictures and put on my website. But I did also help teenage girls that came out to their parents and said they were LGBTQ, AI, and teenage girls that came out and said that they was pregnant. Their parents kicked them out. And because they was going to my daughter's school, I took them and put them in another place to where they were safe and took care of them before they got there, okay? And then I was also helping families who had lost everything. Like they had house fires, they lost everything. So I made sure they got beds, TVs, not fatback TVs, but flat screens. Because see, people knew that I had a nonprofit, so they was giving me clothes and everything, so I could assist children's clothes and everything. So I had some of everything to help out anyone that needed the help. Honey, I just had a storage unit. They would just give it to me, and I would just give it. Okay. And I'm just so thankful that God sees the things you do that nobody else sees, because God says, whatever you do in private, I'm going to reward you in public. God is faithful, and I'm thankful for everything I am. Don't forget to look at the link to receive 25% off your first order. This is the company I use along with all natural remedies when I was given a diagnosis back in 2017 about breast cancer. I didn't take any cancer treatments. They gave me 6 months to live. I did everything natural. I said, if I'm going to leave him, I'm going to leave on my own terms. Because God had just told me, he said, if you take anything that's in this office, you are gone in a week. I said, woo, that's quick. I said, no, thank you. So I started asking the doctor some questions. And the doctor started gaslighting me. It was 2 of them, so they tried to gang up on me. I said, not I, said the cat. Okay. You got to read that book, child. Because the chicken was making, I think it's Little Red Hen or Little Hen. Excuse me, confirmation bird. It's one of them names, okay? And needed help making cakes, and none of their friends would help. But then when the cake was made, excuse me, confirmation bird, they be like, I help you. But before, they was like, not I said the cat, not I said the dog, not I said the frog, not I said the dog. You know what I'm saying? I love that book. Oh, I used to read it all the time. So basically, I took my life in my own hands. But before I left that office, I said I bind up every disease, every drug, every disease, every germ, every bacteria, every tumor, every growth, every parasite that's on my body, and I curse it to the root, and I send it back to the pit of hell from whence it came. And you can say that no pit of hell, but there's a reason why these volcanoes is busting open. Okay. These volcanoes is busting open for a reason. All right. And then Enoch said that okay, something going on. And then I said, and I loose the blood of Jesus, and I loose the hand of God. And I said, I take full responsibility, because there's something that happens when you take responsibility for yourself. God started coming in and said, well, since you're going to take responsibility, let me help on out. Okay. Honey. And they say, what you doing? I said, I'm putting in my order, so when I come back, you know what happened. So I went home, talked to God. God said, get that naturopathic doctor. Did that, pulled down everything that doctor said to ever did on alkaline, and I did it. But my naturopathic doctor was like, but per your blood type, I know this stuff makes you alkaline, but this ain't gonna work with you. This ain't gonna work with you. This ain't gonna work with you because this is gonna get in your body. You're not gonna be alkaline no more. Okay, it's simple things that you wouldn't know that wouldn't make you alkaline no more. All right. Plus, they done changed so many flavorings to certain things. It's just I would just suggest you get your naturopathic doctor just to have along with what you're doing. Just in case. But you can always do it by yourself too. Because they have this machine where you can put your hand on it. And it tells everything that's going on with your body. But now we also have this scale. You can do the same thing. It's up to you. Do what's best for you. That's what I say. Listen to your own intuition. Because everybody going to say, do this, and this. But you know what? It's based on your blood type. Because just because this is good for you don't mean that your blood type won't have you sit up in a hospital somewhere. I'm just saying. Do what's right for you. When you take it and you feel off, don't do it no more. Just because somebody said it worked for them don't mean it's gonna work for your body type. All right. Listen to God. And then and your intuition and your body. And then my ancestors said, go out there and get that dandelion. I said, what? That's where you get roasted dandelion root. Tea. I told them, but I would suggest you to go get your own dandelion and do everything. Put it in the conduit and do like I did and let the juices come out of the flower and then make your tea. Okay. Because you can eat that dandelion right up. And the morning glory, that purple flower out there, both of them is weeds, they say. And I call it crabgrass. They call it a weed. All of this stuff is in the backyard. They call it weeds. But our ancestors lived off this. This was our ancestors' medicine back in the day because they was given crap to eat. And so they ate off the land. Remember when they said they ate off the land? Not only did they eat off the land, but everything that came off the land, but they were foraging too. Okay. And what it looks like crabgrass is that patch of green grass is really dark. And then you see the long grass that grow out of it and it smell like onions. But if you dig it up, it look like scallions. And you can clean it up and you can cut it up in your food. Our ancestors lived off that. And then it's something called poke salad. It looked like lettuce and cilantro had a baby together. And it's serrated on the edges, child. It's got a nice flavor to it. It's kind of got a nutty flavor and also got a minty flavor. It's different. I say, God, how you flavor the stuff? Not put that on top of my spinach, underneath my jasmine rice. Child, you weren't going to tell me I wasn't trying to stay here. Child, I bump all that stuff, all them chemicals they had. I was listening to my ancestors because they were talking to me and I was like, let's go. They ain't never led me wrong. And I've been listening to them since I was a kid. Okay. I remember my ancestors coming up holding me while I was crying because there was so much trifling stuff going on in my youth. And they would come and just hold me while I was crying. And then they would the family would show me pictures. And they was like, this is your great great grandma. And I said, I know her. They tell me, no, you don't. She transitioned before you got here. I said, she was holding me in the room that day when all of this happened. They said, wait a minute, but she gone. I said, but I know her. Hush your fuss and get on the bus. So they ain't never left me wrong. So I listen. And then on top of that jasmine rice, I had zucchini, squash, red onions, red orange, and yellow bell peppers. You can eat them bell peppers raw. They taste so delicious. Okay. And good for you too. They do something great for the stomach. Okay. Today I made me a tea with some garlic, 2 cloves, and some cinnamon. Child, next thing I know, everything. I thought my third eye and crown was open, but child, everything was like bling. Child. Psalms 91, 1 through 6 NLT. Those who live in the shelter of the Most High will find rest in the shadow of the Almighty. Even the shadow of God is so delicious. Okay, I declare about the Lord. He alone is my refuge and is my place of safety and is. God is my God and is, and I ain't afraid to say it. And I trust him and do. For he will rescue me from every trap and did, and protect me from every deadly disease and did, and he will cover me with his mighty feathers and did, and shelter me with his mighty wings. Every day he is faithful to his promises. Let's talk about God's promises. God's promises are yes and amen every day of the week. However, they may be a pause, like Pac-Man and Miss Pac-Man. Why? Because God wants us to get somewhere. And in order to get somewhere, sometimes it may be a pause. It doesn't mean that it's a no. It just means it's a pause. We're going somewhere. And God said, well, what you want? And I said, I want diamonds and pearls. Thank you, Prince. That's the opulence, the law of opulence. And God said, I'm going to give you the diamonds and the pearls. I'm going to give you everything, and plus everything that was on the ephod of the priest, all the way back in the Old Testament. That the preachers tell you not to use those gems, but I told them to put it on the ephod because it was going to shine a certain way. And when they went into the holies of holies, that sun, it was going to hit a certain way, and then you're going to lock on all your chakras. See, that's why they don't want you to use it. Because if it locks up all your chakras and your chakras say bleep and they start working with God, that means they can't feed off of you no more, because most of them are vampires. Okay, I'm just put it out there. I love them though, but until they continue to grow in God, that's how they're going to remain. Okay, not all of them, but most of them are, because they choose not to grow. That ain't got nothing to do with us. Okay, we see nothing but cleansing and purifying energy as they choose their route. And then he said, and then every day make a little bit of step, make a little step. Even if you making steps and changing your mindset, you could be sitting in stillness, and me and you can be having conversations, and you changing your mind and your mindset because you getting ready to make the moves, but I got you in stillness for a minute. Even if you change your mindset, you moving in the right flow, because everything don't mean move. Sometimes gotta say sit still for a minute. I'm changing your mindset. So when it's time to go, you got everything together. Okay. That's the same as the scripture that says before a king moves, he plans out if he can make it to the end. Sometimes God will put you in a situation like me where you don't even plan, you just in there. Now we get into the planning phases. Okay. My armor and my protection. Okay. I'm not afraid of the terrors of the night terrors, nor the bullets that fly at day. Neither do I dread a disease that stalks in darkness. Why? Because David told us in Psalms 23, because David had his dark night of the soul. How we know? David came from a sheep herder to be a king. So that's a big change. So in order to get there, you get the opportunity to go through a mindset shift. In order to go to a mindset shift, you're going to go through the dark night of the soul. We all know that because most of us went through it. Okay, that's what David said. Yea, do I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. He was talking about the dark night of the soul. I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. My rod and staff, my spine and shoulder to shoulder. Little we know that's our cross. Jesus said, pick up your cross and carry it with you daily. Honey, because your cross are the things that hold you back and you get upset about it. But those are the things, once you turn towards them and you start looking at them in your shadow work, those are the things he said, pick up your cross and carry it with you daily. Because when you start looking at that shadow, you start healing things. Okay. And you quit trying to get validation of people that don't even see you because they don't see themselves. Okay, let's get on here. Let's get on here now. Okay, and they say, and my cup runneth over. Surely my cup runneth over. That means prosperity. That means overflow. That means infinite wealth. That means infinite ideas, infinite plans, infinite flow. Because once you start getting from God, it's infinite. It don't stop. God just start pouring. Okay. And then it says, surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. So let's go there. All right, so then Isaiah 53 says, God sends the angels to go before us and set the sun to make the crooked places straight, and God is always our rear guide. Come back to Psalm 23. Goodness and mercy shall follow us all the days of our lives, and we shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. That means God is following us to make sure we get the goodness and mercy that we ask for and that we pray for, and following up on our six, and nobody don't roll up on us. Because if they roll up on us, he gonna be like, pow, pow, pew, pew. Okay, and the ancestors gonna be like, what? You remember on the Matrix, in that scene they was on the highway, they had them twins that just jumped out. That's how them ancestors come out. They come out like, boom, they come out the bushes and they be like, you don't even see them coming. Man, they like Freddy Krueger. They cut you up. You don't even know you cut it. You be like, ouch. God, you funny. And it says, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. You know why you dwell in the house of the Lord forever? You are the house of the Lord. God lives in your heart. God put a piece of himself in you. That's why you're worthy. Before you even got into your mother's womb, you made a covenant with God. And then God came into your heart while you came through your mother's womb. And then God is just with you every stage of your life. In every stage, God is like, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Like your cheerleader waking you up. Boom, 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 boom. And that's why you don't understand why certain things happen the way they do and you get confused, because God said, me and you got a covenant and it's going to pop on certain levels. You're not going to understand it until you get laid on down the road. Nor the disaster that strikes at midday. Hush your fuss and get on the bus. God, God will change it quicker than you know. God will change it quicker than you know. Hand over heart for your affirmation or however you choose. I am not society's script. I am my own definition. I am not of the system, but a flame from God, source, the divine. I don't stress about what I can't physically fix. I let go of that attachment. I monitor the use of my own energy. Monitor the use of your own energy. Monitor the use of your own energy. Once you remove the mediators, then I'm going to call out all the mediators. Mercury is a mediator and a taskmaster. Remember that scripture, it says, even though you are an heir, but you are operating at an age of a child, you will have mediators in between you until you become wise enough to handle your own affairs. So Mercury is a mediator and a taskmaster and affects our emotions. All ascended masters, Jesus, Buddha, Hecate, Kalima, Krishna, Lord Lord Krishna, all of them. Did you know Lord Krishna was black? But they portray him as blue, but he's black. Isn't it funny? Isn't it funny how just about everything is black, but everybody got an attitude with black people? It's so funny once you find out the truth. Everything is black. And it's funny how they got an attitude with us and complicit to the thing to be close to assimilate. It's just, and anyone on this earth, mediators are anyone on this earth that gives you wisdom that you choose to receive it from. Okay, that's what a mediator is. Once you remove all of that, you find out that God has been the center the whole time, just wanting to have a relationship with his creation and love. Unfortunately, in 180 AD as well as 280 AD, they changed how we communicate with God. The powers of the leadership took out so much of the Bible and paid people to teach us what the system wanted us to know. So some of the people that's on the pulpit that's preaching are getting paid to preach the sermons that they're getting preached. Yeah. Some of those are just whatever they are being told to say. Some people are not spending time in the word as they should. And well, I wouldn't say should, as they get an opportunity to. Thank you, God. And it shows if you just pay attention. They basically want to control the collective. So if you pay attention, you'll see it. Just pay attention. We just received a new paradigm connecting with God. This means we're now in the Pauline or Apostle Paul time of getting to know God individually without the control of religion or old systems. For a long time, these systems have been falling apart, and we will continue to see them deteriorate. When they decide to put black people, those born in this land who have been treated less than, things won't change. Understand this. Black people are more than just African. We are indigenous to the land, meaning we also have Native American in us because a lot of us come from that lineage. We're also so many variants. We have so many variants that we could survive and thrive anywhere under any condition. Don't believe me? They took the tribe out of Africa and put them in Antarctica. They did not only survive, but they're still thriving there. And learn to make spears out of stuff. And they learned how to only take the lives of the animals that they needed to make the fur that they needed to put on their skin. Hush your fuss. Don't tell me that we can't survive everywhere because we can. Because they left them out there with some sandals coming straight from Africa, how they look in Africa. And they come back looking like Eskimos. Okay. We're seeing a situation of Wreck-It Ralph. The game belonged to the person that they called the glitch. Okay, remember the girl that they called the glitch? By the crazy scientists of the game. 500 plus years is over, and it's time to see the truth. Things will be forever changed and never return. Some won't make it. However, I'm praying that we all find a way to work together. But some of them ain't. Let me tell you why. God already told me. Some of them are going to refuse to change because of that generational baggage from their generations. And you already know who it's going to be. And they're not going to change. And they still going to want to control. And it's going to be a huge shift. It's going to be a huge separation. And how the separation is going to happen is going to be mental at first. And a lot of people are going to snap. I'm just letting you know, because they haven't dealt with that generational baggage. And let's talk about it. That generational baggage from back in the 15th and 16th and 17th and 18th century, where so many black people were hung and burned at stakes. And those little children, they were 5 and 6 and they seen all of this. And those children never got over that. And these children now are our leaders. And some of them are now the elders of some communities. And some are just going to snap and they're not going to make it. They're just going to click and they're going to be gone. We're also changing our mindsets to deal with God face to face. God is like face off. It's going to be face to face now. As long as you're living, God is in your heart, waiting on you to connect it with Him. To say no to the system, to follow your own intuition and your own inner voice. Basically, your common sense or critical thinking. Things our grandparents taught us to say, don't ever forget this. I'm hearing this song. Oh, I don't know if I'm going to get to it, but I'm going to keep going. There was a song I was hearing today that says, don't say, I'm not supposed to be here right now. Tasha Page Lockhart did some more stretching and yoga poses. It allows my body to lengthen and relax the muscles that are usually so tense. Ooh, it was just so beautiful and allowed my tilt in my pelvic bone to relax today. Remembering seeds always return as a harvest, as trees, good or bad. It's harvest time. So whatever you put in the ground, it's harvest time. Remember that. Grateful for everything. If people didn't leave, even the ones I love dearly, but God saw I couldn't be what I am now. I'm still so grateful. I heard what people do for money. Divine Sounds, 1984. Grateful for every injury, pain, everything in between. I don't compare myself to anyone. No one can live my life and fight the wars I fought physically, mentally, and spiritually. I love all of me, and I'm also so gentle with me. I love all of me 100%. I take my time to heal, not rush, because someone that never saw the war says, hurry up. I love you though. Grateful to just be alive and stretch my body and feel everything. Grateful to think for myself, because child, the things I've been through. Grateful for silence and peace in every moment. I am my own validation and I trust me. Remembering to be present and here right now. All I have is this moment. I can plan for the future if needed with my feet firmly planted in the now. I can bring it to me, Ephesians 3 and 1. All things, God has given us all things spiritually, in spiritual places. I can pull it down and bring it straight to me. I don't have to force anything. I can be grounded, because groundedness is key. God knows where I stay as I follow my intuition and not someone else's plan. I stay in the flow with God, instead of the box that says, this is all there is and nothing more. There's more, and the willingness to stay present and opens every door. And so many other things. But let me tell you something that God broke something down to me today. Remember in Genesis, it says, and we're made in God's image, right? Well, we have divine feminine and we have divine masculine, right? And when we put them together, we become one. We become the Godhead of our own life. Well, let's break it down. God is. Wasn't ready for that. Okay. All right. So God is divine masculine and divine feminine. How you know that, Renata? Well, if we're made in God's image, that means God has to be divine masculine and divine feminine. Meaning he gives us so many chances, like divine feminine would, so many chances. But at the same time, knows when to say, okay, grace is over. Grace period is over. That's divine masculine. I don't know why my eye is itching, but it is. I'm just going. And so God was breaking it down. He was like, you're made in my image. So everything that I would do, you do. So guess what? When people get mad and when we say God is a woman, God is a woman. People get mad and you say God is a man, God is a man. God's both. That's why when the disciples asked, when the man asked Jesus, when we pass and a woman is left here, and then everybody is gone, and they get on the other side, who is married to that woman? Because they said if a woman is left here and the husband passes, and then the brother is left here, is he responsible? And it was like, if that's the family's thing, if that's their oath, that's what they do. Then he said, suppose everybody's on the other side. Jesus said, break it down. Let me break it down to you. There is no female or male in the spirit realm because everybody is both. So when people say God is a woman, it's true. When they say God is a man, it's true. Because God is both. Because we're both. Because we're made in God's image. Now, you can't go tit for tat for something. That's the truth. But some people just fuss about anything. Everyone gets the opportunity to do their own work and see it how they see it in their own timing. It's hard when you love folks, but let them do it in their own time, okay? Keep going. They get the opportunity just like we did. I know you care for them, but what are they showing you? Okay, what are they showing you? Are you really paying attention with these eyes? Some want to connect only when they feel you going. Then let them go, learn their own lessons. They will hold you down for moving forward. Just let go. It'll be okay. God has you in them. Trust it. What you gonna do? Save yourself. Speak the wisdom as you keep climbing the ladder. Okay, Jacob's ladder. Keep going. Okay. God got you in them. Because if they wanted to change, they would go ahead and change. It was scary for you too, but you changed. James 1:19 through 21 NLT. Don't allow anyone to take your power or your energy. Understand this, my dear brothers and sisters. You must all be quick to listen and slow to speak and slow to get angry. Human anger doesn't produce the righteousness God desires. So get rid of all that negative thinking and humbly accept the word that God is planted in your hearts. That's outside of me, or how the dude said at the hotel, that's beyond me. Because guess what? I don't know what God put in your hearts. I know what he put in mine because it has a power to save your soul. If you would listen to that intuition, it'll save your soul. It save you a lot of heartache. Just like the Quran says, 1753 and 4148 highlight the importance of speaking kindly, avoiding slander and gossip, and speaking the truth. But are they doing it? Like 2:254 emphasizes that it's not for creation to question Allah that are underneath Allah, that the decisions are better because Allah thinks better than them. It requires a believer to surrender, which is a message of faith, belief, and surrender to divine authority. It's the same thing we do over here with God. So why we fighting? Oh, the system said to fight. Okay. We know who we really are? It's time that we get into our studies and find out who we are. Pray, meditate, and find out who we really are. Be so secure when things come to steal our joy, we bounce back quicker. I'm telling you, this sadistic lover is dating everybody. Do you hear me? Dating everybody. But don't want this person to know what this person is doing, so they tell you a lie, and then you believe it. And then when you mess around and get across, and when somebody is bold enough, like me, and read the Quran, I'm like, wait a minute, we doing the same thing. Why are we mad at? Oh, it's tribal. God don't do tribal. That's a man thing. God don't say, oh, this is only thing God says, man belong to me. And see, the enemy, the system can't stand it because they the same ones that got kicked out of heaven. And they can't apologize to God. They can't get it right. We go to God and say, my bad, God. I repent. That's on me. God said, okay, there you go. Go ahead and God give us our white cloth again like it never happened. And we just going about our business. They don't get that. That's why they can't stand us. You ever watch that show, Angels and Negative Thinking, the Demons? You ever watch that show and see why they hate us so much? They told you the key. I'm still saying a lot. You know why? Because it's my birthright. Because God put love in my heart and I came out of a womb of a woman. It's my birthright. I am worthy of love. Worthiness is my birthright. I came out the womb. I ain't got to say nothing. I'm worthy. But see, they taught us to be unworthy. We ain't unworthy. We worthy. I'm worthy of the life I love. Honey, you are worthy of a life you love. Only thing you get to do is change it. You don't like? Change it. Go ahead and get the Adjective PDF along with your 400 values PDF and change your whole Sims character to this video game. Okay. Because it's all an illusion. Once you feel it and realize it's all an illusion, you get with God and your angels and your ancestors. I'm changing everything. I'm worthy of a rounded, wealthy life. What does that mean? I have access to infinite wealth once I cut off the negative Nancy's and the negative Nathaniels. When I get them out of my life, child, I got full access to come straight to me. And anybody that's trying to control you, cut them off and see how wealthy you become. Because it's ideas, innovations, plans. If you don't use them, somebody else gonna use them. I'm worthy of the dream that's in my heart. Let me tell you something. God put this dream in my heart. That's our covenant. And if I hold the line, guess what? I got this. As long as I don't quit. I release the timelines are no longer for me. Look, I ain't angry. I ain't bitter. I ain't frustrated with you. I'm leaving you to go your own way. You can go your own way. You can go your own way. Okay, REO Speedwagon, I think it is. I think. Honey, go your own way. I see nothing but cleansing and purifying energy as you go your own way. Two can only walk together if they agree. We no longer agree. So I'm going to go my way. You can go yours. I'm done. I'm just done. I'm not angry. I'm just done. Enjoy your life. Because you don't like me, so why you keep looking over here? Why you keep looking over my 6-foot fence trying to see what I'm doing? Pay attention to what's going on in your yard. Oh, you don't like it. But that's the seed you sowed. So enjoy all them trees. Not being mean, not being ugly, but you sowed that. Okay. I release the timelines that require me to shrink. If it requires me to not be myself, we can't be around each other. I love you though, but we done. Two can work together only if they agree. I'm not rushing or placing pressure on myself. That's Amos, okay? I'm just open for clear communication and wisdom on my next move in stillness. Stillness will save your life. You hear me? You get still, God be like, don't move right there. Sit still. You be like, all right. Then God say, go right now. The coast is clear. I walk forward lighter, clearer, and deeply supported. I am never alone. I have my ancestors, angels, God. It is a threefold cord. You hear me? That cannot be easily broken. I'm so secure. Even if I'm walking by myself on certain levels, I'm never truly alone because I got some ancestors that will jump out the bushes with guerrilla warfare, and I don't have no control over them. You know what and why? Because some of them is they in the underworld. Okay. Angels always bring me something amazing that causes my heart to light up. And you know what? It's a wonderful thing to have people in the underworld. Why? Because when you of the light and you don't know all the shimmies, they come out like yimmy y'all. Okay, like bam. They be like, get it. They like, get them. I'm like, well, get them then. That ain't on me. They like, no, you stay in the light. We got this. They say, give me the light and stop the door. Okay, come on, Sean Paul. Mm. I promise my angels always do something to keep me just smiling. I'm aware enough to breathe, to pause, breathe, and sit still for the next move. I just know that I am loved in every way that love can show itself. Mm. Love has 101 million ways. People go out of their way to treat me good because of the favor of God on my life. Rules, laws, regulations, and any red tape is removed from me. It is said we don't usually do this. They just can't help it. And I can't help it either. But let me tell you something. If God say let go, my intuition say let go, and my ancestors say I wish you would. Child, I'm finna let go because I ain't got time to be dealing with my ancestors. Okay. I'm gonna let them handle everything else. Harry. I have miracles every day, and uncommon blessings find me without me even searching for them. They just fall upon me because I'm aligned. Once you start following what God told you to do on an everyday basis, even if that's just an aligning mentally and spiritually, you on point. I don't consent to any energy control. I am grounded, safe, and fully in control of myself. I am untouchable and fully sovereign in myself. All cords are removed from me. Cut, snip, burn. I sever every cord of connection. We can't walk together. How I say, can't sit here. One of my favorite movies, Forrest Gump. I'm worthy of my dreams and everything my heart desires. God said he'll give me my heart desire. What? As long as I keep going. I allow clear thinking to find me without fighting for it. I don't have to compete with you. I don't have to yell with you. I don't have to fight with you. That ain't even none of mine. Mm-mm. I'm worthy of seeing all my dreams come true while seeing the light in darkness at any moment. If I can go up here and see it from a different perspective, let me tell you something. My life will change in seconds. Seconds, honey. I saw this somewhere and I said, this fine. I like this. All things come to me in perfect, mature timing for my highest outcome and for the good of all. Because if I win, you win. If you win, I win. Why? Because we going to share. As long as God said we can share. Money comes back to me multiplied on every dollar that was spent. Double, triple, quadruple, 100-fold on every dime that was spent. Everything that was taken, and everything I don't know nothing about, and everything that my ancestors didn't get back, it's mine too. I put it on down. I'm willing to open space for the things I truly want by being gentle with myself. I'm intentional with love for myself. Ooh, I've been loving on myself today. Because you only got you. I saw this on Google and I said, that's mine. I put some extra sauce and some hot sauce. Spirit, if it's in my highest good, I remove all energy that doesn't belong to me from my energy field and I send it back to the rightful owner, cleansed and purified, no matter where we originally met. Universe, world, timeline, dimension, realm. Even if I was to speck of space dust, I sever the cord of connection. The lessons have been learned, and I release you to find your own way. I call all my energy fragments back to me now. I am free. I am free. I am free. Just like Magneto, honey. I call all my stuff back. I now release all energies, traumas, and patterns that aren't in alignment with my highest good across all timelines, dimensions, and realms. And everything that didn't clear out, I receive everything that my ancestors didn't get. Everything that they fought for that they didn't get, it's mine. I am free. I am free. I am free. I am free. I got the Midas touch. Everything I touch turns to gold. Come on, whispers. I sit in peace while I trust the process and I don't rush the process. Can we wait when it gets silent? That right there is the test. That means the proctor is in the room. And when the proctor is in the room, nobody can talk. I'm doing speaking engagements and podcasts that bring transformation. My signature topic, helping visionaries to reconnect, reinvent, and rebirth, and also rise in confidence. We're all visionaries. It just we forgot our personal dreams and started surviving and threw everything in the back seat instead of bring it back up and put it in the passenger seat so you can see it. Teaching individuals how to return to themselves, quiet the noise on the inside, and live boldly on your own terms. Guiding through mindset shifts, emotional release, soul level understanding, helping us navigate reinvention, rebirth, setting boundaries, okay, even if it's family and friends, and rise into our purpose with confidence, because confidence is the missing substance to faith. Now, faith. Hebrews 11. Check it out. Hi, my name is Renetta Cheston, Life Success Results LLC, the owner and founder of Life Success Results LLC, soul igniter, trauma overcomer, holistic spiritual strategist. I work with the whole being for my level of training, education, with the mind, spirit, soul, and body. I have a master's and bachelor's in healthcare to understand and comprehend mental health and public health, massage therapy, Reiki and sound healing, holistic practitioner. We pull out all the impurities from the rooter to the tutor. Human design practitioner. We go back to the beginning and look at that purpose. Then we look at the generational baggage and that trauma, and we start pulling it out. When I was given the task of having uncomfortable conversations with others, I knew then that my path was going to be a little different. And probably would have people standing off a little standoffish for a minute until they done their own work. But that didn't stop me. I ask myself uncomfortable questions every day to get out of old patterns. I do the work every day. It's not always easy or pretty. But I wake up to confront the areas in me in love that need a facelift so I can go forward. What will you do? What are you afraid of losing? It is once you see colonialism has played everybody. I just showed you with religion how it's played everybody. Okay, the Christians or the people that's reading the Bible has been against Islam and Muslims for so long, and guess what? We are doing the same thing. And see, the narcissist that's been dating the both of us, the system, has been telling us that it's radical Islam. But nobody talks about radical Christianism. Those are the ones that go and shoot up stuff. Why? Because they never dealt with their ancestors and stuff. So they got all this anger that's coming up. The anger is sacred, but instead of using, they projecting it out on people, and they go after the people that can't protect themselves, the children. Ain't that something? But it's the same thing that happened to their ancestors. Okay, think about it. Your granddaddy and your grandma, your great granddaddy and your great grandma, think about it. If you are Caucasian, okay, they saw the most hideous crimes. People hanging from trees, people being burnt at the stake, and they were children, 5, 6, on up to 10. Remember when I said childhood wounding? That's a childhood wound. And they never healed from that. So, what would they go after? Childhood. Why not? That's how they was hurt. And they just thinking they're just doing it. They're not just doing it. It's in the lineage. Child. And colonialism has played everyone. You won't know what to do if we're not fighting each other anymore. Okay. So if you see them, you can buy your bean pie. They ain't got nothing with it. How about we find out ways to have conversations that cause us to pause, to see life differently in all areas of life? This will cause us to quit blaming someone else for what's going on with us and our problems, and see where we, this person right here looking in the mirror, might have missed it. We can only meet people where we have met ourselves. Remember that next time you want to have a real relationship. Have you met yourself yet? Because see, the light brings everybody. But see, the light has an opportunity to say, I don't want that. Because see, they say you draw who you are. But if you are of the light, you bring everybody. You bring all the boo-boo, the dung beetles, and the lightning beetles. Like, so if you don't want the dung beetles, you can kick them off your step and say, no, thank you. Put two and two together. I was saying something. Read between the lines. We have many adults who were never taught how to feel safe. So they seek safety and validation outside of themselves because of a plethora of challenges that have occurred in childhood processes. So they trying to rack up all these followers, and it says, I'm worthy. I'm worthy. But until you can see you're worthy, you can have 200 million followers and still not feel worthy. You can still feel like an imposter, and you can still feel like you're not good enough until you understand that you are worthy. I'm being commissioned to aid in the process by sharing how I overcame everything meant to keep me from coming to my true identity. And every day I'm still uncovering new things. I ain't all the way there. I had to believe in myself and God. See, God is in me, but before I could see God, I had to see me. We're taught that God is out here, but God is on the inside of your heart, waiting to be tagged in on all your battles. Ephesians 6 says, we're fighting principalities, rulers of the darkness, and spiritual wickedness in high places. We're not fighting people. We're fighting spirits with spirits first. Remember that. This is that negative thinking that has gone on for so long that is a norm of society. The Bible calls it the multitude of thinking. This is what every ascended master had to fight against. Jesus, Buddha, Hecate, Kali Ma, Lord Krishna, call them all out. The mindsets of us who complain but don't want to change, or we don't know how to. And it causes a dip in morale because most don't know how to get out because it's generational or ancestral. So to get out, it requires one to get uncomfortable, to get past the plateau of complacency, or I don't know how to. It's always been done this way. There's always a new way to think about it if you sit still long enough. God will give you the wisdom. But see, sitting still would mean you would have to shut off some of that noise you got going on. And I ain't beating up on nobody because I'm always finding ways to shut off more noise so I can hear more of God. We sing these songs, we want more of God, but are you sitting still? You can sing that song to Jesus come back. You can sing that song to God part open up every sky. But are you doing it on a daily basis to hear the voice of God? You say none of me and all of you. But are you sitting when you ain't with everybody? Because Jesus said, let's break it down. He said that there are certain people that get up in front of everybody that like to pray and be seen amongst everywhere. He said, but you don't need to do that. Go in your prayer closet and shut the door. Hush your fuss. See, we don't want to do that. We get offended when stuff like that is being said. There are some freebies and a link from my podcast with the Women's Leveling Up done in May. Then we also have 3 magazines that I was covered in September, October, and November. You see those links down there as well. Look in the description below to find the things that truly light you up and leave everything else behind. I cannot wait to talk to you soon. There's so many things I got to share. Remember, I placed a link to my own personal bookstore. My books incorporate the essence of God. If you want to feel the presence of God, read In the Garden with the Father, Understanding True Intimacy. Okay, let's talk about this book right here. This book. It says, be at peace at all times. Let me lead and guide you. Follow my words with the peace that comes from your gut region. Settle yourself and don't get caught up with this world. That means sit down somewhere sometimes and get quiet and listen in. Because your intuition will lead you right where you need to go. And look, and then there's other 2 books. Befriending the Shadow, Unshakable Peace, Unstoppable Change. Both of those books, let's break it down. Nope, both of those books, I call them shadow activity books because it's not like your regular shadow activity books. Those books will change your life. Let me tell you something. My ancestors had me laughing. They was like, that's the way we communicate with you is all that gray hair. They said your hair wasn't that gray until we started communicating with you more. They say that's how we communicate with you. I said, well thanks a lot. Woo, but I don't mind it, child. That just shows my wisdom. And so you get a word of knowledge, then you get an exercise, then you get a shadow question, not so nice. So if you get tired of doing the shadow work, then you get a color page. You can pull out all your crayons and your color pencils and your markers, whatever you want to do. In that page, God asked me to keep it between the age of 5 and 10. Why? Because most childhood wounding happens between the age of 5 and 10. By the age of 7, it's solidified in the system. And also, by the age of 10, it is usually just stuck. By the age of 21, it's on you if no one is coming to assist you, because now you are full grown and now you get the opportunity to go to therapy and whatever you need to do in whatever ways you choose to do it. And then you have 4 pages per chapter. You have 22 chapters per book, and that's 44 chapters. So you have 4 pages per chapter. Mm-mm-mm. Draw, doodle, put down your dreams, put down your visions, put everything together, because I didn't see it. God said, well, make it. I said, say less. No matter what your background, because see, God don't need a background check. God know who you are. He know all the hairs on your head, even if you have peach fuzz on your head, because it's bald. Notebooks and journals for all. Coloring books that help in meditating and recalibrating the mind. I'm about this venture because I'm in charge of my own intellectual property, even though most of this is all on Amazon. But guess what? I have specialty journals that are only on my special bookstore. Don't forget to look at the link to the 105 spiritual laws that govern the earth. Don't forget to get your it's in PDF form, but don't forget also we under love and grace. We're no longer underneath the law, but still get a chance to look at it. Don't forget to sign up for the newsletter for the juicy updates and the upcoming events. Don't forget about your Adjective PDF along with your 400 values PDF, your science project to change your whole Sims character to this janky promoter game and become a whole new person. I did. Okay, try it out. I was inducted into the new class of Who's Who for 2025 and Influential Women for 2025, bringing up the last quarter of 2025. God is good and His mercy endures forever. Look what I received in 2017. There it is. I received a Who's Who Worldwide in 2017 because of my work I did with Refuge Women's Transition Center, my nonprofit. And the reason why I had a nonprofit is because I needed assistance. I was homeless, and the homeless shelter said, "Oh, you a veteran, so go to the veteran place." And they told me I couldn't get no help because I wasn't no crazy medicine. I'm not that. So I just started a whole nonprofit because I said if I'm having that, somebody else is having it. That's your first to get on the bus. That's a whole nother story for a whole nother day. And then I started helping women get out of sex trafficking, helping teenagers get out of sex trafficking, helping teenage girls that came out to their parents and they were LGBTQAI, helped them, helped teenagers that came out and said they was pregnant, their parents kicking them out. I helped them, put them in shelters, made sure they had what they needed before they went there, clothes and everything that they needed for the baby, because it's one thing to go to a shelter and you don't have anything and you don't know if they're gonna give it to you. Child, just making sure they had what they need, and new mothers that they didn't need to be in a shelter. They was living on their own and didn't have it. So I was making sure they got the infamil or whatever they need, or they was breastfeeding, they just needed clothes, making sure they receive what they need and assisted them to get on the path. And then set them up with pantries and things like that they can assist them until they get back on their feet. All right, I showed them how to go fishing so they could get everything they needed until they got back on their feet. Okay, and then I was helping people that had lost everything in fires. I had a storage unit, and so in the storage unit, people knew I had a nonprofit, so they were giving me beds, flat screen TVs, they were giving me clothes, they were giving me shoes and everything. So I would just put them in there and have everything organized and pull everything out and say, get what you need, how many rooms you need, how many rooms you got in the house. Okay, we only take out what you need because somebody else is coming. I'm pretty sure you're not the only person who got burned out of their house or apartment this week. So I was helping people that got burned out of their apartments too, because the cities and their counties was helping them and Red Cross was helping them. But and then I was also giving them like $20 gift cards to go get some more underwear, go get just the simple things that they need. I was giving them little goodie bags with toothbrush, toothpaste, just little simple things that you need. I was making sure the women had fingernail polish, and it's just simple stuff. And you're like, why would somebody want that? Just because you got burned in their house don't mean that you don't want to feel good about yourself. And sometimes you just need that pick me up. That's all you need sometimes. Honey, I'm so glad that God see the things that you do for people. God said what you do in private, he will reward you in open. And I'm so glad that God saw everything, and I didn't need to do fanfare. I took pictures, but not the pictures of the women that I helped that was coming out of those situations. I put it on my website, but outside of that, everybody need to see it. God don't forget what you do for people. And there was no fanfare. And I'm so glad that God is faithful, and I'm so thankful for everything. And don't forget about the link to receive 25% off your first order. They also have things for menopause. Okay, and everything is liquid or powder. This company, I use this company along with all natural remedies. In 2017, I was given a diagnosis of breast cancer. And they told me I had 6 months to live. Child, I ain't take none of that stuff. God said if I took anything in that office, I was gone in a week. Child, I told them, I said, you know what? You can keep all of that. I'm good. And they was like, wait a minute, we do the immediate surgery. It's all on the left-hand side of your body. I said, I'm good. And then I said, you know what? I bind up every disease, every germ, every bacteria, every growth, every tumor, every parasite trying to attach to my body. And I said, and I cursed it to the root, and I sent it back to the pit of hell, and I loosed the blood of Jesus, and I loosed the hand of God. And then I said, I take full responsibility because I did hand to mouth, hand to mouth. I ate that food. I went to the restaurants. I bought the food. I ate that food. I did that to myself. I can't blame nobody else. What am I doing looking like suing somebody because of the food I put in my mouth? Okay, people have done it in one, but why would I do that? That's a lack of integrity. Okay. And I just took full responsibility. They said, "What you doing?" I said, "I'm putting in my order." So when I come back, and I didn't come back with nothing, just know you heard what I did. They said, and I said, "Say less and left." I went home, talked to God. God said, "Get you a naturopathic doctor." Got a naturopathic doctor. Got everything that Dr. Sebi said on being alkaline. I got it, showed it to my naturopathic doctor. Told me, wait a minute, per your blood type, you can't have this, this, and this. I know this is the alkaline list. But in your system, this will turn to acids. That's why I say just because somebody gives you wisdom on what to put in your body, find out what works for you. Because what works for them may not work for you. Okay, find out what works for you. That's why it's important to either get that scale to do your own thing and check it out with yourself, or get you a naturopathic doctor. They will put your hand in this system, and it'll show how your blood type is. It'll show them everything that they need to know about your body. And from that, this company was made by naturopathic doctors. Everything is done by herbalists and naturopathic doctors. Everything. Okay. And that's why I mess with them. Okay. And then my ancestor said, go get that dandelion root. And I said, what? And that's how they got roasted dandelion tea, because I told them about the dandelion root. It took them almost 10 years to do the research, but now they put it on the market. I wouldn't trust it because sometimes with these teas, no, you did. Sometimes they put, what you call it? They put sawdust. So I would suggest you just get your own. Okay. And then that, what do you call it, God? That morning glory. And then I call it crabgrass. It's that grass that's real green in your yard, and it's just a little patch. And then all of that long stuff. The long stuff is what I call crabgrass because it smells like onions, and it's actually wild scallions. Our ancestors lived off this. You dig it up and you can see, you can clean it up and cut it up and put it in your food. And then, um, um, it is called, you know what it's called. I just had a brain fart when I say it left. And then that poke salad, and it's just like lettuce and cilantro had a baby together. Okay, and it's got like a nutty flavor and like a minty flavor. It's different, but it's so good, right? I put it on top of my spinach, underneath my jasmine rice with my zucchini, my squash, my onions, my bell peppers, orange, yellow, and red. Child, you ain't gonna tell me nothing. And then every once in a while I would add in some shrimp or some tuna steak or some salmon because I went pescatarian for a while, or sometimes I would just add some what you call that? The tofu. I would add that sometimes just to give me a different variant, a different flavor, and a different texture to the food. Okay. Child, you do you. Do what works for you. That's what I keep saying. I will give you the wisdom, but do what works for you. Find out what works for you. Use your intuition. Quit giving away your power. Use your intuition, okay? I love you in the love of the Lord. Mm-mm-mm. Lord, I just want to thank you for this word. I want to thank you for loving me. I want to thank you for keeping me. I want to thank you even for whipping my tail. Let me tell you something. Because when you whip my tail, you give me Romans 1. You said, if you don't correct me and I don't receive the correction, that means you giving me over to Romans 1 and reprobate mine. Meaning you left me out there like Nebuchadnezzar to eat the grass off the ground and just be lost. Not I, says the cat. I'm listening, God. And I thank you, God, that they telling us we were disenfranchised. They are telling us that we are weak. They're telling us all this stuff, God, that we are the minority, but we know better. Child, that we're playing Space Tump and Uno with the most raggediest cards, but you are showing us how to play. Man, you and I ear talking about, they said, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. We had boots. We had shoestrings. They come and took the shoestrings. Then they took the boots. We went out there and got some bamboo and made some new boots. Say we didn't, but we did. And we made some vines and made shoestrings. They tell me how they still doing that, because we of God and we God's children. When we don't die, we multiply. Okay. Thank you, Lord. And I thank you for being here, because you could have been anywhere. I send everything. I send nothing but cleansing and purifying energy to you as you go on your path. And use your mind. Use your deductive reasoning. Use your critical thinking. Okay, as you go on this path. Don't believe everything everybody is telling you. Try out things for yourself. Okay? Don't give your power away. Your ancestors are dependent on you. Your generation is dependent on you. And I love you in the name of the Lord. Have a great evening. Good night.